Welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring the life of one of America's most revered presidents, Abraham Lincoln. From a humble log cabin to the White House, Lincoln's journey is one of perseverance, principle, and profound leadership during our nation's darkest hour. Let's dive into the remarkable story of Honest Abe. Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, in a one-room log cabin in rural Kentucky. His parents, Thomas and Nancy Lincoln, were farmers who struggled to make ends meet. When Abraham was 7, the family moved to Indiana, seeking better farmland and opportunities. Tragedy struck early when Lincoln's mother died of milk sickness in 1818 when he was just 9 years old. His father remarried a year later to Sarah Bush Johnston, who became a loving stepmother and encouraged young Abraham's passion for reading and learning. Despite having less than a year of formal schooling, Lincoln was a voracious, self-taught learner. He walked miles to borrow books and would read by firelight late into the night. The Bible, Aesop's Fables, and Pilgrim's Progress were among his favourites. This hunger for knowledge would shape his entire life. As a teenager, Lincoln grew to an impressive 6 feet 4 inches tall and was known for his physical strength, splitting rails and working various jobs to help support his family. In 1830, the Lincoln family moved to Illinois, where Abraham would spend the rest of his life. He settled in the village of New Salem, where he worked as a store clerk, postmaster, and surveyor. His honesty and fairness earned him the nickname Honest Abe, a reputation that would follow him throughout his career. Lincoln taught himself law by reading legal texts and was admitted to the Illinois bar in 1836. He quickly gained a reputation as a skilled lawyer who could argue cases with both legal precision and folksy wisdom. His tall frame and homespun stories made him memorable in courtrooms across Illinois. In 1834, he was elected to the Illinois House of Representatives as a member of the Whig Party. Even as a young politician, Lincoln opposed the expansion of slavery, though he initially believed in gradual emancipation rather than immediate abolition. In 1842, Lincoln married Mary Todd, despite their on-and-off courtship that nearly saw him fail to show up at their first wedding ceremony. Mary was from a prominent Kentucky family and brought social connections that would prove valuable to Lincoln's political aspirations. Lincoln served one term in the U.S. House of Representatives from 1847 to 1849, where he opposed the Mexican-American War and continued to speak against slavery's expansion. After his term ended, he returned to his successful law practice, but the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854 pulled him back into politics. This act threatened to expand slavery into new territories, which Lincoln saw as a betrayal of the founders' vision. He joined the newly formed Republican Party and began delivering powerful speeches against slavery's expansion. The famous Lincoln-Douglas debates of 1858, during his Senate campaign against Stephen Douglas, brought him national attention. Though he lost the Senate race, his articulate arguments about the moral wrong of slavery and his House-divided speech made him a rising star in the Republican Party. Lincoln argued that America could not survive permanently half-slave and half-free, a principle that would define his presidency. His moderate position attracted many who opposed slavery's expansion but weren't ready for immediate abolition. Lincoln won the Republican nomination for president in 1860, partly because he was seen as more electable than more radical candidates. His election prompted 11 Southern states to secede from the Union, viewing his anti-slavery expansion stance as a threat to their way of life. Lincoln faced an impossible situation when he took office in March 1861. He was determined to preserve the Union while initially hoping to avoid war. However, when Confederate forces attacked Fort Sumter in April 1861, the Civil War began. As president, Lincoln demonstrated remarkable leadership during the nation's greatest crisis. He expanded presidential powers when necessary, suspended habeas corpus in certain areas, and maintained that his primary goal was preserving the Union. The Emancipation Proclamation, issued in January 1863, declared slaves in rebellious states to be free. While it didn't immediately free all slaves, it transformed the war from solely preserving the Union to also ending slavery. This strategic move also prevented European nations from supporting the Confederacy. Lincoln's Gettysburg Address in November 1863, though only 272 words long, redefined the war as a struggle for democracy and human equality, ensuring that the sacrifices made would lead to a new birth of freedom. Tragically, Lincoln's life was cut short when he was assassinated by actor John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theatre on April 14, 1865, just days after the war's end. His death robbed the nation of a leader whose wisdom and compassion were desperately needed for Reconstruction. Abraham Lincoln transformed from a poor farm boy into the great emancipator who preserved the Union and ended slavery. His commitment to equality, democracy, and human dignity continues to inspire leaders worldwide. Lincoln proved that in America, anyone, regardless of their humble beginnings, could rise to greatness through hard work, integrity, and unwavering principles. His legacy reminds us that our nation's highest ideals are worth fighting for. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this biography, please like and subscribe for more historical content. Who should we cover next? Let me know in the comments below.